especially for teachers, to make youth folk and to motivate them, channelize them to proper direction. It is really a challenging job when compared to any other profession. And today I would like to give you the outline of health issues, especially genetic disorders. And you must be knowing, according to WHO health definition, it has defined health in a very complex way. And many components are included to describe or to define healthy individual. And more focus has been given not only for the physical health, it is also for the mental health, because this era and upcoming era is the era of artificial intelligence. Everywhere AI. You must be knowing, when you go to anything, no, they use AI, and it will be, no, it is, and AI becomes part and parcel of our life. And apart from that, these modernization and technology, advances in technology, making us to move into or march everyone to mental illness. So next era will be the era of mental illness, and everyone, we don't know how to manage stress and depression, anxiety, attention deficit, attention seeking, lot of these psychological as well as psychiatric condition will be the real challenge in the next era. Okay, please. So no conversation, no crosstalk. Yeah, and the third component is a social health. Social health is very much required because we are all social animals. First of all, Homo sapiens, or the humans, are social animals, and social interaction is very, very essential. But nowadays, what happened? We make a, like, no, we box ourselves, and we won't come up, and there is no interaction with the society, family members, everyone, even family members, friends, and all these things, no, that leads to a lot of complication that is related to our health. And that's why WHO focuses on the social health also. One should have a social health because we can't be alone. Human is a social animal. And sexual health, very essential. And nowadays, no, youth, adolescent, teenagers, they don't know exactly, they don't know what is sexual health. And lot of misconceptions are there, myths are there. And that's why they need to be educated, and it is the role of teachers as well as the parents to direct them to have a better health, sexual health. And finally, WHO says spiritual health is also equally important, but that is the root or the mother for all these things, and that will guide us. And thereby we can have a physical, mental, social, and sexual health in a proper way. And once we say health, all disease, you name anything, whether it is a diabetes, obesity, hypertension, asthma, constipation, and then thyroid issues or endocrinological problem, then even psychiatric condition, depression, anxiety, and cardiac problem, even cancers, infertility, name any disease. All the diseases have an that is a genetic component, except some food poison or some kind of infection. Other than that, all rest of the disorders are a genetic disorder. But some of them, they have the transmission is very strong, and some of them, they need an environmental trigger for the manifestation of the disease. But all the diseases, what I have mentioned right now, all of them are genetic disorder, and the expression, the penetrance and expressivity of these genetic disorder might vary, but everything, they belong to genetic disorder, because there must be some changes happens in the DNA, and thereby the protein, mRNA, the message in the DNA has to be decoded. Everything is in the coded form that has to be decoded. The message has to be decoded in the form of mRNA. Once again, it will be decoded in the form of protein with a transcription, translation, many processes. Okay, so finally, the protein of our required protein will be synthesized depending upon the time and space. Whenever we need that, the body will synthesize. Gene expression happens and they synthesize. And that's very essential. Everything, enzymes, hormones, everything in our body, they are nothing but a protein. Very essential. Gene expression has to happen. something error happens during this process, that is nothing but a health issues or a diseases. And most of the time it is a changes in the DNA, and it will be transmitted from generation to generation. So I just want to give you the outline of the genetic disorder and environmental impact. Nowadays, no, we are facing a lot of threat related to polygenic disorder. And 2024, last year itself, India is considered as a capital of diabetes. And then we are in the third place in obesity, fifth place in cardiac problem. And gradually we are picking up cancer, infertility, all these condition. And that's a really a great threat for our country. And because human source, if they are not healthy, that's a great loss for our economy, all these things. So what could be the reason? And these mutation happened long back. But why now people are prone, or we are developing these diseases, is because there's a change in our lifestyle, change in our diet, change in our hobbies, all these things. So let us see what exactly. One second. Yeah. Yeah. Genetic disorders, definition goes like this. It's a medical condition caused by mutation of genes. And mutation is a heritable change in the gene makeup of the individual. And the change in the DNA sequence finally resulting in genetic disorders. And he's a Professor Mikashuk. Like many of life science people are familiar with Gregor Mendel. Mendel experiment, he's called as a father of genetics. And he's a pioneer. He conducted a lot of experiments on pea plant, hybridization experiment, like a crossing tall plant with a dwarf plant, and observing the generation like that. He developed many Mendelian principle of dominance, segregation, independent assortment, all these things. Similarly, in human genetics, Professor Mikashuk, he's called as a father of medical genetics, because he identified the reason for the diseases. I told you, everyone, we have one or other problem. If not us, at least in the family, everyone, they have one or other health issues. And all these health issues, it is a medical condition, and it is because of the expression changes in the genes. And medical genetics in science is mainly, it is mainly worked by Professor Mikashuk. And I told you, gene, it's a functional unit regulated by transcription. All the things I told you, I simplified because you're all from different discipline. And you must be knowing our body is made up of trillions of cells. And again, there is assigned work for each group. That's either it is a liver or kidney or heart or whatever may be. So the hepatic cell or the kidney cells or the neurons in the brain. And all these cells, they have a definite function. And in the cell inside, this is the cell for others who are from a different, not from science faculty. This is the cell. Like this cell, in our body, trillions of cells are there. Inside the cell, there is a nucleus. Inside the nucleus, there are chromosomes. And one second. Participants ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ
ಇಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ನಾವು ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ತರ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ
Lights are not moving.
ನಾವು
Okay, so are you in the first slide?
Yes. ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I passed on to third one. One second. We'll rectify.
ನಾವು ಓಕೆನಾ
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. Unable to. Okay. Now, is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. So our body, I told you, no, body is made up of trillions of cells. And for other faculties, if not life science, then They must be knowing this the cell inside, there's a nucleus and these are the chromosomes. And all organism on this earth has a definite number of chromosomes. The shape and the number is very definite. By chance, if there is any change in these things, then that leads to some disease. So humans, we are all Homo sapiens, and you must be knowing that we originated from chimpanzee. Great apes. There were 3 great apes like a chimpanzee, orangutan, gorilla. And we originated, our ancestors were chimpanzees. And during the course of evolution, then what happened in Africa? That's why Africa is our birthplace for all the Homo sapiens. And what happened? There is a different, Homo Australopithecus gari, Australopithecus anamensis, Australopithecus, a different thing like Homo habilis, Homo erectus. Finally, from that lineage, finally, Homo sapiens were evolved. And the chromosome number of the Homo sapiens is 46. And maybe whatever may be the religion, region, caste, community, all humans on this earth, whether he's a black, white, American, Negroid, Caucasian, whatever may be, all humans have a 46 number of chromosomes. And out of this, 44 are autosomes, means the chromosome meant for other function, and 2 are sex chromosome, where the sex chromosomes, they determine the sex of an individual. Whether it is a male or female, it is decided by the sex of the individual. So this is the number, and the number varies from organism to organism. In chimpanzee, it is 48, humans 46, and in rats or mice, it is 40, 42. Like that, the number alters, and even changing the single digit, 1 or 2 or 3, even that will be totally entirely different organism. And DNA, it is the DNA which is inside these chromosome, and genes we can find here in the DNA, a segment where that is involved in the decoding. The message in that has to be decoded, and decoded message is nothing but the protein of our interest. So this is about the DNA and chromosomes as well as the cell. So I don't. Shall I continue? Okay. Yeah. All genetic disorder, I told you, no, any disease condition, it is nothing but a genetic disorder. Everything, you name anything, it is because of, and majority of them are psychosomatic also. The reason might be stress, and it is manifested, the stress might manifest in the form of some disease, diabetes, obesity, all these things. And because of the stress, there may be some changes happens in the DNA or in the genes. The genetic disorder fall into 4 category, 4 or 5 category we can classify. The first one is a Mendelian disorder. Second is a polygenic. Third is a cytogenetic, and mitochondrial and genetic imprinting. All these are 4, 5 category we can make it. All diseases are classified, and we can bring them under this umbrella. So the first one is Mendelian disorder, means I don't elaborate the things because it is not required. Only thing what you should know from this, generally know, as a genetist, I don't entertain consanguineous marriage. Means the marriage between the relatives. Even scientists, doctors know, they used to tell, don't get married among relatives, that to close relatives. First cousin marriage, uncle niece marriage in Hindus, first cousin marriage in Muslims. In all religion, in a different way, they have this marriage between the relatives. So why they are telling like that? What will happen? Here, genetic disorders, generally, about 95% of the genetic disorders will be autosomal recessive. Means, forget about the technical word. It means that always to develop the disease, we need change or mutation in 2 copies. 2 copies in the sense, the copy which comes from father and the copy which comes from mother. Both has to undergo some change. Then only the baby will develop the disease. And If you have just a change in a single copy, then the person will be absolute are there. We don't know how many mutation we had. We are all normal because all are in single copy. If it is in a 2 copies, you'd have not been as an assistant professor. Many things, hearing problem, deafness, speech problem, mental retardation, and a lot of anomalies, and that's a disaster. So we are all fine, healthy, happy because many changes might be there, we don't know, but all are in single copy. That's why we are all very healthy. 1 copy, fine, no problem. Person will be normal because another copy will take care of the function. But what happened in consanguineous marriage generally? For example, in a family, there is a mutation. Mutation happened. Mutation means some change in the DNA happened in a family where sister had the mutation in single copy, so she is normal. Her brother had the mutation in 1 copy, brother is also normal. Then this will pass on to from sister to her daughter. Daughter also having a single copy mutation, normal. Then the sister wanted her daughter to marry with her brother. So this uncle is marriage. Generally, in South Indian population, we entertain this. So many reasons are there, and financial, social, all many things are there in the society, and they force them to get married. Both of them now have single copy mutation. They are happy and healthy. They get married. And after marriage, if they get 4 children, out of 4 children, 1 will be normal, 1 will be abnormal, 2 will carry the disease. Carrier means they look normal, but they have the mutation. This is the 3:1 ratio, the segregation of the gametes. And if they are lucky enough, even though consanguineous marriage, then the first child may be healthy. Then they thought, okay, let us stop, 1 kid is enough. Then they may not get, second, this one they may not get. But sometimes what happen, the first child might be unhealthy, or first child might be the carrier, we don't know. So that's why the risk of transmitting the disease, the probability of transmitting the disease will be high among relatives marriage. So that's why it is not advisable to go for a consanguineous marriage or the marriage among relatives. That is called as a Mendelian disorder. Majority of them are a Mendelian disorder. And the second category, it is a disease related to multiple gene mutation, means with a small effect. Many genes are involved, more than 30,000 genes are involved in all the function, and many genes are involved, but their effect is very small. Cumulative, it is, it is very big. For example, why diabetic condition, you can't cure diabetes. Nowadays, they say diabetic reversal. It is reversal in the sense it's a management. Once you are diabetic only, but you can manage your blood glucose level by controlling your diet, exercise, all these things. Once you are obese, that means mutation happened and you have to monitor your weight with dieting, exercise, all this. Thyroid, once again, thyroid cannot be cured at all. All this cannot, because it is controlled by not 1 gene, controlled by so many genes. And finally, cumulative of this effect will be the disease condition. The third one is it arises in a chromosomal aberration. I told you, each one of us have a definite number of chromosomes. Humans 46. By chance, if they have 47, more than the normal, or 45 less than the normal, then what happened? That results in mental retardation, infertility, hearing, a lot of health issues, and the baby is abnormal. You can see the baby with a huge head, macrocephaly, baby with a small head, and no brain development. All these issues will be there because of changes in the chromosome number. The number should be perfect, accurate, no compromise in the number also. Similarly, non-traditional inheritance is a mitochondrial disorder. Means you must be knowing always, people are not aware that why female is considered as a power. Always we consider female is power. That's why she is the Shakti. She, all goddesses, no, we consider she has the power, she has the Shakti. The reason they didn't know, they knew the information, but the reason for that, why female is called as a Shakti, why not man? The reason is always the mitochondria is in our cell. It is a cell organelle and it is a powerhouse of the cell. That means whatever energy is required for the body, for all the processes, it is always given by mitochondrium. It is called as a powerhouse of the cell. Mitochondria is contributing from maternal side. Mother gives the mitochondria, not the father. Father gives only the DNA. Okay, 50% of the genome will be given by father. Rest of the things is given by mother to the developing fetus. And that is all these things are there in the ovum. When it fertilized by sperm, then there's a formation of the zygote and all the mitochondria is always for everyone. Whether it is a male child, female child or whatever, the mitochondria is from the maternal contribution. That's why females are considered as a power. And female, again, you must be knowing she's a multitasking human. And because her brain network is completely different, neuroplasticity of the females are quite different. And that's a mitochondrial disorder. By chance, something wrong with the mitochondria, then all the children will be affected. They have lot of health issues because mitochondria, the power in the body is not there. There's a deficiency or a deficit of the energy and the baby will suffer with lot many health issues. Okay, I told you about single gene disorder. Polygenic also I told you. Multifactorial, we are in the world of toxin. Whatever we drink, whatever we eat, breathe, everything is highly polluted. Lot of toxins with a coloring agent, preservative, food additives. Multifactorial disorder or a polygenic disorder, I told you, there is a interaction of genes, our DNA, with the environmental factors, either tobacco, pollution, diet, all these things. Finally, they are the one which will trigger. And cancer, why people develop cancer? Because there are a lot of chemicals in the environment, carcinogen. They trigger our gene to undergo mutation. Once gene undergoes mutation, then what happened? The person will develop the cancer. Cancer simply it won't. It's a multi-step process. Very elaborate thing has to happen in the body. That's why aged people, by the time accumulation of these toxins or the mutation in the body will be more, they develop the cancer. Youngsters, they don't develop, majority. It is always the age is the risk factor for everyone to develop cancer, neurodegenerative disorder, all these things, age is the risk factor. Even we can say like obesity, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, schizophrenia, all these are multifactorial. Many things are involved, not only our genes, even many other things are involved. I told you mitochondria, no, powerhouse of the cell. And in human, it is called as extra nuclear DNA because mitochondria has its own DNA. In a chloroplast, it has its own DNA other than the nucleus. Chromosomal disorder, I told you. I skip all these things. Some of them are preventable. Some of the genetic disorders are preventable if you stop the consanguineous marriage. We shouldn't entertain marriage between the relatives because the child might be with a lot of health issues. And I told you there are chromosomes in humans, 46 chromosome. See, you can see all this chromosome. If you count the number of the chromosome, it is a 46. All are in one pair. This in a pair, one is from father, another from mother. Father, mother, father. Which one is from father? We don't know. But one from father and another from mother always. Human, 23 pairs of chromosome. And the chromosomes are coiled up DNA. Under normal condition, all the chromosomes are inherited, intact. So this, I told you, no, XX are female and XY are male. Chromosome, I told you, all organism, they have a chromosomes. Human, grasshopper, and birds, and haplodiploidy, that is a honeybee, they have a different types of chromosomes. So not exactly like human. And see, this is the human X and Y chromosome. See here, X chromosome is very tall, Y chromosome is small. Okay, so, and X chromosome being tall, it has so many genes, very, very important one. Y chromosome has genes only for sperm production, only for fertility, spermatogenesis. The genes in this Y chromosome is only meant for production of sperm, good quality sperm, count, number of the sperm, qualities, this one, all these things, functionality of the sperm, all spermatozoa, all decided by the Y chromosome, the genes present in the Y chromosome, and it's a very, very tiny. Earlier, the size of the Y chromosome was like a X chromosome. But what happened during the evolution, nature always sends, if it is of no use, that will be eliminated from the nature. That's a nature's principle. And if we are using some of the organs, then naturally there's an atresia or a degeneration of that particular organ or the tissue happens. Here what happened, nature found that the Y chromosome only function is a fertilization, that's a production of sperms. None other than that. Thereby, there's a reduction in the size of the Y chromosome in the course of evolution, and it has reduced its size. Now this is the size of the Y chromosome. And scientists, they were very much worried. Few months back, if you have gone through the newspaper, Chinese scientists, they have reported that there's a threat for males on the earth. So there's a degeneration of Y chromosome, and if it degenerates, finally human race will be eliminated from the globe, and all robots will, they dominate the globe. That was the threat. But later on, no, they were very much worried, and they have calculated how many bases, nucleotides are reducing every year, like. So they have calculated and found that it will take another 100 million years to eliminate the Y chromosome. Another 100 million years, we need not worry for anything. We live, human race will be there on the earth, and later on, we don't know what will happen. Okay, this is X and Y chromosome. X is always, no, everyone they say, they think it is India is a male dominated society. I don't agree for that statement. I can give a lot of justification that it is a female dominated society, because X chromosome is very large, and mitochondria is from the maternal side. So many things are from female side, and females have a multitasking nature. Brain wiring is completely different from males. All these justification evidences proves that females are very strong, not physically consider they are weak, but mentally they are strong. Even physically also they are strong in a different context. But Y chromosome is smaller than the X chromosome. And any change, number or shape of the chromosome, leads to, there is a change in the entire phenotype. Phenotype means appearance. Appearance will alter. And why such changes happens? It is called as a non-disjunction. The process called non-disjunction in the cell division. We have two kinds of cell division. Rest of the bodies show somatic cell division called as a mitosis. Germ cells like a sperm and eggs, they show a different kind of the cell division called as a meiosis. Thereby, the number in the sperm is 23, number of chromosomes in the egg is 23. When they fuse, it will become 46. So that is the beauty. It is fantastic. Always, no, it is so mesmerizing, the thing, when you study our human body at a molecular level. Really, you understand. So every process is so accurate to the core, no errors, nothing, perfection, always it will be working, no halt, no stop. For some of the thing, organs or the tissues, no rest also, and many years. And even nobody has invented that is the machine or the motor which works like a heart without stop even single second. 60 years, 70 years, 100 years, some people will survive. So none of the machine without any stop work like this. Means it is so amazing human body. And what happened? This during this cell division, if there are any error happens, then that will be carried in the either in the egg or in the sperm, and the baby will be having the abnormality. And the error is called as a non-disjunction. Means the chromosomes not segregate equally, unequal chromosome segregation, thereby the cells are abnormal cells fuses with a normal egg or sperm, then the end result is abnormality in the children. It is called as a meiotic non-disjunction. See here, it should be always 2 in all this, but here 3 and here 1. So it should be like 2, but here 3 and 1. It is abnormal. These both are abnormal. Here all are abnormal. So what happened in this case, when this sperm fuses with the normal egg, baby is abnormal. When this such type of egg fuses with a normal sperm, then the baby will be abnormal. Either it is from the maternal mother or from the male or female. These chromosomal changes are very common in a plant. See, all hybrids we have, no? This is the hybrid. This is the normal chromosome number plant. This is the abnormal chromosome number. It may be not diploidy. It may be triploidy, tetraploidy, pentaploidy, hexaploidy, heptaploidy. So decaploidy also we have. Increasing the chromosome number, size of the that is a fruit or vegetable or the flower increases. More yielding, more juicy, and more economy. Shelf life will be more. You can keep it many days. All these things are there only in plants. But in human, if change in the chromosome number, it is a disease condition. He can't survive. So I will give you just a few this thing because you are all from a different discipline. There is I told you in humans, there are 44 autosome, means they meant for all other function, and 2 chromosomes are a sex chromosome. That's a XX in females and XY in male. Always if the girl child is born, it is from the father's side. He is responsible because the sperm might carry X bearing sperm or the sperm might be Y bearing sperm. So females only X always. So no option, no role of female in giving birth to male baby or female baby. It is the father. If the girl baby also, it is a father. It is a male baby also, it is a father. So father is responsible or male is responsible for the, even responsible in the sense, even he doesn't know which sperm is fertilized because he has a X bearing sperm, Y bearing sperm. So birth is a chance factor. We don't know which will fuse with which and how we born. It is all an enigma. Like, so here what happened? Some females, they don't have 2 eggs. They have a single X. That condition is called as a Turner syndrome. And out of 5,000 girl child, one we can see such individual with a Turner syndrome. And they have only 45 chromosomes. And it is because I told you, no, during segregation, it is not proper. So that leads to this condition. And when we check such girls, no, and they have lot of this thing, short stature, they are very short, then low hairlines, webbing of the neck here. I show another this one. Classical thing, there is a webbing and extra fold of skin you can see, and shield-shaped thorax, and no breast development, elbow deformity, poor breast development, and widely spaced nipple, small fingernail, rudimentary ovaries. Ovaries, they don't have a proper functional ovary. Ovary is rudiment. That's why they don't have a menstruation also. And the gonadal streak, underdeveloped gonads, no menstruation, all these things. See here, this is the extra fold of skin. Baby, this extra webbing of the neck you can see here. Extra fold of skin here. This is a webbing. It's also webbing. This portion, neck portion is a webbing. See here, widely spaced nipple, no breast development. These are all not kids. They have grown up, but very small, dwarf, mentally retarded. IQ is less, not completely mental retardation. IQ is very less. Learning deformities, they have so many problems they face. It is because they don't have another X chromosome. See, this is the karyotyping chromosomes. I told you, no, all chromosomes are in pairs. One from father, mother, like that. Here, it is only one X. One another X has to be there to be not X. This resulting in Turner's syndrome. So confirmation always, physical examination, they suspect there is a problem. But confirmation will be always through the karyotyping. Karyotyping is a confirmative test. Similarly, not only in females, in males also we have this condition called as a Klinefelter syndrome. XXY, instead of XY, they have extra X. XXXY, 3 times X will be there in some individual. What happened? More of this X chromosome, more feminization. They develop a female characters. And gonads are underdeveloped. No proper development of testes. Inside, there is no seminal vesicle. All these internal genitals are not well developed. Out of 1,000 males, one will be having this condition. So male births, no, one will be having, the chances are high. Once again, the reason is not disjunction, means this is because the segregation of the chromosome during meiosis is not proper in the parents, not his all the birth, such birth. We have a, like, males, female intersex, in the sense ambiguous genitalia. They have both the vagina, then the testes, internal also, both ovaries they have, then seminal vesicle, all these condition, it is because of the chromosome or some mutations in the genes during the development, or in the egg or in the sperm, such things will happen. So here, this is a tall stature and slightly feminized physique. Physique is a feminized physique. IQ is bit less. Frontal baldness, poor beard development. Breast development, we can see that condition is called as a gynecomastia. Osteoporosis, testicular atrophy. Testes are undergone degeneration. Female type of pubic hair, he will be having. Bilateral enlargement of the male breast testis. This is the breast development in males. It is because of extra X. This is the breast development. And he is not a female, he is a male. See, but body physique, it looks like a female. Even fingers, all these things. This is not a female girl, it is a boy. So chromosome shows that they have a XXY. Confirmation through chromosome test. Okay, this is called as a, sometimes I told you, multiple X we can see. Sometimes there are a mosaic pattern. Mosaic pattern in the sense, what happened? Some cells are normal, some cells are abnormal. Thereby, the features are not very glaring. It is very difficult to make out whether is a normal or abnormal. But if they don't have a fertility, that is a issues, like after marriage also no child, then when they go to doctor suspect something wrong. When they did the karyotyping chromosome test, then come to know that there is a mosaic pattern. Mosaic means Some cells normal, some abnormal. That's why the features are not very clear. Similarly, Jacobs syndrome. Here, out of around 2000 birth, one birth will be with this condition. They have XYY, another Y, extra Y will be there, like a super males. No, normal physically, they are normal. Mentally, most of the time, behavioral problem they have. Increased in testosterone. They have a very high level of testosterone, male hormone. So because of the male hormone, they are very aggressive. You have seen lot of some people very aggressive behavior, and most they are very violent, and lot of issues we can see. It is because of more testosterone, and that increases the aggressiveness. Here, see, one X instead of one Y, there is another extra Y. So here it is XYY syndrome. It is called as a Jacobson disease. Similarly, poly-X females. Other than 2X, some females have 3X, some females 4X. And this is, they have normal female phenotype, but it is bit compared to other females is extraordinary. They have menstrual difficulties. Sometimes they are fertile, may not be fertile sometimes. And they are usually they are very tall. And severely, that's a menstruation sometimes varies. And most of the time they are infertile. So that is, all these things are related to sex chromosome. Hope you have seen these such babies, very common Down syndrome, means related to autosomes. There is a condition called as a Down syndrome, where the chromosome number is 21. It is called as a trisomy 21. Hope you have seen babies like this. So they are all mentally challenged, and IQ is very, very less. See, you can see depressed nasal bridge, epicanthal fold, and low set ear. Ear is low set, not properly developed, and IQ is very less. And they can't do anything by themselves. This is a brush field spots in the eyes. It is called as a brush field spot. All this, when you do karyotyping, you can see extra another 21st chromosome. See, all other chromosomes are 2 in number, but here this is a trisomy, extra 21st chromosome here. And that is the reason for the mental retardation of this such babies. Any clarification? Anything? Okay. So the what could be the reason for the non-disjunction of the chromosome?
ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಬೇಡ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೆರಳಿದೆ ನೋಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆರಳಿದೆ
I request participants not to interfere. So here, please look at this chart. As mother age increases, the chances of giving birth to abnormal children increases. At the age of 20, the chances of giving birth to abnormal child will be 1 in 2000. As she ages, the chances increases. At 45, it will be 1 out of 30. So, advanced maternal age is the risk factor in giving birth to abnormal children. That's why females are not supposed to postpone their marriage, because the chances are quite high once she enter into advanced age. So this is all eggs which are formed. The reason for this is eggs in the females are developed or formed when she is in the mother's womb. But males, the sperms will start producing in their adolescence. So once they reach the adolescent, then the spermatogenesis will initiate, and spermatogenesis is a continuous process. But oogenesis, or the formation of the eggs, is not continuous, and this has initiated during organogenesis in the mother's womb. In the baby fetus itself, the eggs are formed. Around 1 to 2 million eggs are formed, And when she reaches the puberty, by the time 3 lakhs, 3 to 4 lakhs eggs will be there. Rest of them, they decline, they arrest, they undergo atresia. And what happened here, every time, every month during the menstruation, no, there is a ovulation. Ovulation, egg will be released. If it is not fertilized, then we consider it as a menstrual bleed. So among these 3 lakhs eggs, there is a competition which egg has to release first. So then the egg which is very good quality, potent, strong, such eggs will be released first. And as she ages, she loses all her good quality eggs. And by 40, 45 years, no, most of these good quality eggs will be exhausted, and left out eggs are not that she has to compromise with the quality of the eggs. So that's the reason why advanced maternal age, see here in the graph, you can see as mother age increases, the incidence of Down syndrome also increases. And father role, father, not much. The age of the father is, if the male is healthy, even 60 years also, he can produce healthy children. But if he shouldn't be diabetic, obese, no, not metabolic condition, or not under medication, that means spermatogenesis is a continuous process. Male's role in this giving birth to abnormal child will be less when compared to females. But what happened? Father exposure to teratogen. Teratogen means the chemical which alters, which will inhibit the organogenesis. Organogenesis means inside the womb, the baby organs will develop. Heart, lungs, kidney, all the organs will develop at particular time, month. That is called as organogenesis. And during that time, pregnant female, if she consume any chemical, that's why I told you all coloring agent, preservative, food additives, Ajinomoto, all these are taste powders, food additives, preservatives, then insecticide, pesticide, herbicide, fungicide, and chemicals, fertilizer, all these things, no, definitely they have one or other impact on the developing fetus. Pregnant female, she is not supposed to take even paracetamol, even painkiller, nothing she has to consume, because we don't know this chemical, how it will affect on the developing fetus. That's why there is a compromise in the development of the fetus. And baby, after the birth, baby may not be active, baby might be having hearing problem, baby may not be good in studies, or focusing, or concentration, or anything could happen, because it might kill the neurons also. So that's why female should be very careful. And even sperm takes 72 hours to mature, and during this period, if the sperm is exposed to any environmental factors, then definitely the sperm quality will be compromised. That's why always couple know they have to plan for a pregnancy. We plan many things, but none of them in our country plan for pregnancy. So both of them, they should plan for pregnancy. Both should be healthy physically, mentally, socially, sexually, spiritually. Then only we can expect the healthy baby. Otherwise, not possible. So tetracycline also damages the fetus, and more than father, maternal factors are very important. And if mother is taking some drugs for some medication, like long term health issues, compromises with the health of the baby. If mother having a thyroid problem, mother having a deficit of thyroxine, anything, even it has an impact on the baby. Mother is diabetic, definitely it has impact on the baby. Chemicals like PCB is very common in all plastic bottle with the water we consume every day. We don't know how much chemical like a dioxin, phthalate, bisphenol will leach into the water. When we consume, we don't know how it will affect. Infections, we have to be females, especially pregnant female, should be very careful with the hygiene, like a rubella infection, cytomegalovirus, herpes, toxoplasma versus syphilis virus. All these makes the baby mentally retarded. You must be knowing toxoplasmosis will be carried through cats fecal matter and pets generally. Pregnant female continuous exposed to cats, chances are there that the child will born with the blind condition. So ionizing radiation and maternal factors like a diabetes, I told you, then phenylketonuria, then thyroid problem, all this also contributes. One very important incident I should inform you about the thalidomide babies. This is a drug given to pregnant female in Europe to stop early morning sickness in pregnant female. They have a lot of nausea, vomiting. And gynecologists, they have given this drug to this tablet to females to reduce these symptoms. In the entire Europe, all European country, this was sold. And all gynecologists know they were prescribing this drug to their clients. So what happened? All of a sudden in the Europe, there was an outburst of such babies. So 50,000 children born like this without limbs, no limbs, children without limbs, 50,000 children in Europe. They were not knowing why, what is the reason. Then later on, they come to know that it is because of the thalidomide drug consumed by the pregnant female, inhibit the development of the hands, the limbs. So organogenesis, I told you, during the early development of the organ, if pregnant female consumes something without doctor prescription, then we don't know how it will affect the baby. Similarly, radiation, ionizing radiation. Till now in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, children born with some meteorite retardation, many other problem, because the leaching of these radiation, and there is a microcephaly, small head, spina bifida. See here, this is a spina bifida, neural tube defect, or a cleft lip and palate. All these are because of the exposure to radiation. Okay, all these conditions are because of the radiation. And some teratogen, a single teratogen or multiple teratogen. It may be alcohol, it may be infection. They causes mental retardation. And methyl mercury also, it is a teratogen. It's a pollutant found in fishes. It causes neurobehavioral deficit, attention deficit problem, or autism, learning problem, so many things. Lead poisoning also. So it causes anemia, encephalopathy, mental retardation, all this. Social drug like alcohol, which causes a condition called as a fetal alcohol syndrome. Baby will born, small head, mental retardation, growth retardation, decreased birth weight, hyperactivity, emotionally it is jerking movement, uncontrolled emotional outburst will be there. Okay, so depending upon, because what happened now, the fetus doesn't have an enzyme to detoxify the alcohol. Generally, anybody who consume alcohol, it goes to liver and detoxification happens with the aldehyde, and later on it will be converted into citric acid. But here, what happened? The fetus doesn't have the converting detoxifying enzyme. Thereby, it will be in the circulation of the fetus. It goes to neuron, damages the neurons. It is called as a fetal alcohol syndrome, mother consuming alcohol during pregnancy. See here, mentally retarded. Okay. This is a low nasal bridge, epicanthal fold, micrognathia, small chin, all this. Mental retardation is a major thing. Smoking also affect the weight, heartbeat, heart rate, and because carbon monoxide, no, that will damage the neurons. Always brain requires a lot of oxygen. That's why we have to do good the pranayama. Pranayama makes us to take deep breathing, our brain will be enriched with oxygen and it will be very active. So if less oxygen during smoking, either active smoker or passive smoker. Active smoker in India is less, passive smoker are more. So even it will affect the neurons of the baby. Increased spontaneous abortion, mortality of the children, and mentally lot of issues, hyperactivity, attention deficit problem, all these things. Because less oxygen supply to the fetus. And caffeine, there are a lot of studies and controversial, but too much anything definitely has an impact. And drugs, definitely, even alcohol, smoking has an effect. Similarly, any drug consumed by the mother during pregnancy, definitely, which will affect malformation of the heart, central nervous system, gastrointestinal tract, and placental abruption, low birth weight, all this. See, we can see the children with all this condition with a maternal improper management, abnormal children, cradle cat, all these things. Okay, finally, there are a lot of genetic testings are there, and who has to undergo such genetic testing? I told you there are first type of genetic testing is a carrier screening. If we want to check whether we carry any mutation in the particular family, then the carrier test. Second is a prenatal diagnosis. Prenatal diagnosis recommended those who are above 35 or older when the baby is due. Otherwise, if you have a family history of birth defect in the family, otherwise the child with a first child with a birth defect, planning for a second child, then they need to go for a, it is a mandatory the prenatal diagnosis. And if mother is a type 1 diabetic, there are different methodology. They do ultrasound scan, but that has to be done by competent person, not everyone. MD in radiology only could pick up the small changes in the developing fetus. Otherwise, some diploma course in radiology, they can't identify the small subtle changes. So we should go to authenticated medical person for this. And they check a maternal serum, alpha fetoprotein, ultrasonography, all these things. And if there is a change in the hormones like a alpha fetoprotein, human chorionic gonadotropin, unconjugated estradiol, then immediately they sense that something wrong with the baby. Confirmation, they go for a prenatal diagnosis like a amniocentesis, chorionic villi sampling, chordosynthesis, pre-implantation genetic diagnosis. It is done for the IVF. IVF, always IVF, don't think all IVF will be successful. Sometimes through IVF, if they get the baby might be having many health issues because it is not a natural process. In a natural fertilization, always good eggs will be fertilized with a good sperms. But in a artificially assisted one, where we are making to fuse, forcibly we are making to fuse and we are expecting the baby. So in that condition, the embryos has to be checked for genetic disorder, that is called as a pre-implantation genetic diagnosis. So here, what do they do in amniocentesis? Around the developing fetus, there is an amniotic fluid. It acts as a shock absorber. In pregnant female, uterus is there, no? Here, this is the liquid. And we take this liquid and the cells in the liquid, the fetal cell will be there. They use the cell for genetic testing, molecular testing they do. They observe they check the chromosome and they take DNA and do a lot of molecular studies, and that is called as the amniocentesis. And this is done at 14th to 17th week of pregnancy only. This is how. Insert the syringe, take the fluid, and fluid will be analyzed. Similarly, chorionic villi sampling, here it is a thin section. They insert the catheter, they take the chorionic villi, and chorionic villi is subjected for all chromosome testing, DNA testing, and they identify the risk. This is insert the catheter, from here the tissue, And by taking this, no, they could identify the health of the baby because the cells will be there. So, and through ultrasound guided this one guidance only, it is possible. It could be done by authenticated gynecologist, and they do the karyotyping. They prepare the chromosomes, they study the chromosomes and identify what's wrong with the baby. And I told you here in the IVF, after the fertilization, one cell they remove. Okay, removing a cell for diagnosis from human embryo. This is in vitro fertilization. And one cell. That's why always it is so mesmerizing. We are all from a single cell. Egg is a single cell and sperm is a single cell. And from single cell, finally, we have a trillions of cells now. Organs, tissues, everything a different level. So remove single cell, observe the cell for the this one, any abnormality. If everything is fine, then only this 16 cell stage embryo, it will put into the uterus by IUI and they observe the development of the fetus. So this is how all these things are done. And finally, the management of any disease, health issues, no, it's a dietary modification. We should stick on to our ancestors' diet. Earlier, our ancestors, no, they were using more fibrous diet, like a millets, ragi, jola, all those millets, no, high fiber, less glycemic index. So they were healthy. They were using from farm to kitchen, all vegetable, fruit, everything very fresh. They grow, they cut, bring it, prepare, and very healthy without any pesticide, insecticide, chemicals, nothing. And always our ancestors know they prepare, they cook food for themselves and they eat at home. But nowadays that culture has gone in Bangalore and other metropolitan city. And they are removing two Ks. First K is a kitchen. No house having kitchen. And second K is a kids. They don't want kids. They don't want kitchen. So that is a upcoming trend. Everyone, they wanted to live happily without marriage, live in relation. All those things are the contribution of our modernization in the technology development, all these things. But diet, what we eat, that decides our health. Dietary modification, always we should eat enough vegetables, fruits, grain, sprouts, and etc. And quality and quantity also. And any health issues, we need to go for a medication. Environmental adoption, we should have a good water, air, no polluted. If we consume polluted, definitely we get all the diseases. And take hydrate our body, more water always, that cleanses, that will remove the toxins from our body. And sedentary lifestyle, because 8 hours working continuous, our brain has a beta firing, always active state is a beta, and the calm state, close your eyes, relax for 1 minute, it is a alpha state of the brain waves, very much essential, very good also. So whole day, at least every 1 hour or 20 minutes, generally they say, neuroscientist says 30 minutes, every 30 minutes, we should close our eyes and just 1 minute we have to relax every 30 minutes. Then our brain will be capable of receiving the information. So leave the sedentary lifestyle, be active, and all these remotes, electronic gadgets minimizes the usage, thereby movement will be more. And exercise always, any exercise, anything of your this one choice will be very good. That will keep you healthy, because exercise always secrete endorphin. Endorphin is a good hormone. So that will keep you healthy, always happy also. And changing our lifestyle, diet, hobbies, have a good hobbies. And otherwise, no, we end up with a lot of health issues. and to have a robust health, holistic health, some of the modification we should have in our lifestyle, diet and hobbies, and cut down the carbo, cut down the junk item, cut down the outside eating. Occasionally, okay, fine. But if it is a routine, then definitely we compromise our health and reduce the stress, because stress is a main culprit for all the diseases. It is a root cause for all the diseases. Try to relax in between, enjoy your profession, love your profession, and more than that, have self-love. Love yourself, love your mannerism, dressing. First, take care of yourself. If you have a self-love, then you can love others. You can love your profession. You can have affection and love with all your surrounding. Otherwise, it is very difficult to manage the good health. And these are all some of the tips. And gene therapy and no cure for genetic disorder. No cure. Whatever may be allopathy, Ayurveda, homeo, no. It is not curable. It is a manageable. You can manage the diseases and you could be okay, but you can't cure and you can't be like earlier how you were. Once you are diabetic, you can't be a normal. You have to take care of your blood glucose level. So it will be. So these are the thumb rule of the health. And with this, I conclude. And any interaction, any questions, please, thereby some clarification if there is. With pleasure, I will give you the information.